Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Dandas pranams to all the devotees. So just welcome you all for this another session of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So today the speaker is His Grace Premasindhu Gauranga Prabhu. So he is with us today, and just on behalf of the entire team, I'd like to thank him for giving his time, and then he's going to share the nectar with us today. So Prabhu, on behalf of everyone, welcome to the forum. So it's wonderful to have you today. So over to you, Prabhu. I request you to kindly go ahead and then share the nectar with all of us. Thank you, and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all the devotees assembled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakhantam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Kapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you for today's morning Bhagavatam class. And so currently, all of you are studying this section of Puranjana, sorry, Prachin Varishat. So many examples, analogies are given here. Narad Muni is speaking to King Prachin Varishat, and many examples are here which are shown. So let us read these three verses which we are going to study today. So I was asked to speak on these three verses, and in these three verses, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, they don't speak much. But in the final verse, the 13th verse, so Prabhupada gives a little purport of 4 or 5 of couple of sentences. And there he is speaking about going to different planetary systems just by the simple process of hearing. So we'll speak something about the science of sound, how sound manifests things, and what are the different planetary systems, how you can go there. So first, let us recite these three verses, then we will discuss. So so Prabhu, can you share the verses, or you can make me the host so that I can share?
Yes, Prabhu, I'll do that. I'm sorry. Oh, you want me to?
Yeah, you
I
can
do that also.
You can yourself do it. We'll quickly go through the verses. All right. So here, this is the 4th canto, 29th chapter, verses 11 to 13. We are discussing here. So 11th verse goes like this: Nalini Nalini Nase Gandha Saurabha Uchyate Grano Vadhuto Mukhyasyam Vipano Vag Rasavid Rasaha. Okay, read the translation. So Nalini and Nalini. So Narad Muni has been explaining about the body, and with regards to that, he's taking different analogies also. So the two doors, names Nalini and Nalini, should be known as the two nostrils, and the city named Saurabha represents aroma. The companion spoken of as Avdhuta is the sense of smell. The door is called Mukhya. The door called Mukhya is the mouth, and Vipana is the faculty of speech. Rasagya is the sense of taste. So the word Avdhuta means most free. A person is not under the rules and regulations of any injunction when he has attained the stage of Avdhuta. In other words, he can act as he likes. The Avdhuta stage is exactly like air, which does not care for any obstruction. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad dridha tasyaham nigraham manye vayureva sudushkaram. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it seems to be more difficult than controlling the wind. Just as air or wind cannot be checked by anyone, the two nostrils situated in one plane, enjoy the sense of smell without impediment. When the tongue is present, the mouth continually tastes all kind of relishable food. So here Narad Muni is speaking about air or wind. It naturally enters into the nostrils. So with regards to other things like eating something, only when we put something in the mouth, then it goes inside. But in case of nostrils, so they are always open, and just like an avdhuta is always free, so the smell is always going inside the nose. Okay, so we go to the next verse. आपणो व्यवहारोत्र चित्रमंदो बहुधनम पितृर्दक्षिण कर्ण उत्तरो देवहु स्मृतः. Okay, see the translation. So apana means the apana, the city called apana represents engagement of the tongue in speech. And bahudan is the variety of foodstuffs. So the tongue has two functions. It tastes foodstuffs and it speaks. So the right ear is called the gate of Pitruhu and the left ear is called the gate of Devahu. Okay. Next. Pravrittam cha nivrittam cha shastram panchala samgitam pitrayanam devayanam shrotraj shruta dharad vrajet. So the city, Narad Muni said, the city spoken of as Dakshina Panchal represents the scriptures meant for directing pravrutti. Pravrutti means how to progress in material life and the process of sense enjoyment in fruitive activities. The other city named Uttara Panchal represents the scriptures meant for decreasing fruitive activities, nivrutti, and increasing knowledge. The living entity receives different kinds of knowledge by means of two ears. And some living entities are promoted to Pitraloka and some Devaloka, and all this is made possible by the 2 years. Okay. Workbook. The Vedas are known as Shruti, and the knowledge received from them through oral reception is called Shrutadhara. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one can be promoted to the planets of demigods or to the planets of Pitas, forefathers, even to the Vaikuntha planets, simply through the process of hearing. These things have already been explained in previous chapters. So this verse is saying that so there are these two cities, Uttara Panchal and Dakshina Panchal. So Dakshina Panchal and Uttara Panchal are the Pravrutti and Nivrutti Shastras. That is the Shastras which speak about Karma Kand and the Shastras which speak about Jnana Kand and Upasana Kand. So the living entity receives different kinds of knowledge by means of two ears. And some living entities are promoted. So basically the living entity receives different kind of knowledge by the medium of two ears. And then whatever kind of knowledge they get through the ears. So this is a very subtle science, which we'll try to understand now in a we can't discuss in detail, but very quickly we'll try to discuss the science that how the sound is so powerful that just by receiving the sound inside the ears, one can attain different planets. He can go to lower planetary systems. He can go to auspicious planets like Pitriloka, Devaloka, and they can also go to Vaikunta planets. So sound is very, very powerful. And through sound, one can attain any destination. And so in the process of sadhana also, this sound is very important. So through sound, so we are all chanting every day. So the sound is going inside. Or we are reading Bhagavatam, or we are talking to devotees about Krishna Katha. So that sound is going inside. So this whole science of transformation is all about sound. So sound is something which transforms us. So we know that even this world, the universe, initially was conceived through sound only. So sound has the potency to create. It can create consciousness, it can create everything, matter, different sounds, colors, taste. So sound can create everything. And there are different types of sound which are explained in the Upanishads. And the different types of sounds can create different types of things. So when we are chanting a particular mantra, that kind of sound resonates with our consciousness. And we develop a consciousness which is suitable for going to that particular place from where that kind of sound has originated. So if you're chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so Prabhu, you can stop sharing the screen. If you are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has come from Goloka. And so you become qualified to go to Goloka because that sound is originating from there. If you are chanting the mantras of certain demigods, then you can go to their planets. If in the modern society, so we are always bombarded with different types of sounds. Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasayatmika buddhi. So for sadhakas, it is better that they focus on one type of sound vibration as far as possible. But in modern society, so we are bombarded with different types of sound vibrations through media. And so mind is confused, and our future destination is also in a confused state. It cannot be fixed properly because our consciousness is not resonating according to one particular sound vibration. So mostly through sound, consciousness can change, health can change. Scientific studies, they have also shown that conscious sound can do different things like change in health also. So anyways, there are different types of planetary systems, and through the science of sound, one can go to all these planetary systems. So let us briefly discuss upon this science of sound, or how sound works. And then we'll also discuss about different planetary systems and how to go there. So here Prabhupada is saying, the verse is saying that just by the simple process of hearing, one can attain different planetary systems. So the modern scientists, they are trying to spend billions of dollars by mechanical means in order to go to moon or Mars or whatever. So Prabhupada has been saying right from the beginning the time when he wrote Easy Journey to Other Planets, that it is not possible to go to different planetary systems through mechanical means, because it is not a mechanical process. Even if you go there, you'll not be able to see the people there or the things there, because it's a different dimension. So the mechanical means they operate in three-dimensional space. And in order to access higher dimensions, you need access to these mantras. So these mantras, they will give you access to other dimensions. So that's why Prabhupada says that even if they go to the moon, Prabhupada says they didn't go to moon. Even if they go, they'll not be able to see what is explained in the scriptures about the moon. For example, the ant is there in two dimensions, and he cannot see what is there up, but we can see. Similarly, what is beyond the three dimensions, it is very difficult to access unless that particular sound vibration goes in your ears and you're able to match your consciousness with that. Then you can go there. So that is the process of Easy Journey to Other Planets. So regarding sound, in the Vedic traditions, it is considered as the most important principle of existence. Sound is the source of matter. We understand that the creation of the universe, it started with sound. So sound is the source of matter, and sound is also the key to become free from matter. So that's why in the Vedanta Sutra it is said Anavritti Shabdat. It means what? Through Shabda, sound, one can become free from matter, from material existence. So there are in the Vedic traditions, there are different levels of stages of sound which are explained in different Upanishads. And one can utilize the science of sound to become free from bondage of matter. Just like one can utilize sound to achieve different states of consciousness, isn't it? People have different idea of enjoyment. So if you go to, let's say, a place where people are drinking and dancing, so they will play this trance music because they want to go in a state of illusion. If you go to the temple, then the mantras are chanted. So the sound is creating different states of consciousness. So when trying to understand the different levels of sound, first we should understand that what is sound? How is sound defined in the scriptures? So sound or shabda, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, there is a verse which says that what is sound. So 3rd canto, 26th chapter, verse number 33. It says that persons who are learned and who have true knowledge, define sound as that which conveys the idea of an object, indicates the presence of a speaker, and constitutes the subtle form of ether. So basically, sound conveys the idea of an object, it indicates the presence of a speaker, and it also constitutes subtle form of ether. And it can create a form, it can create consciousness, it can create colors, taste, everything. Different types of sounds have the potency to create these things. So this is not an absolute definition of sound. There are various levels of sound, but this gives us a foundation to begin our study into this topic of what is sound. So according to the Vedic tradition, first, those who are learned and those who are true knowledge, as we discussed, they define sound as that which conveys the idea of an object. So the understanding of sound in Eastern and Western views or Vedic and modern views is different. So according to the modern science, sound is what? It is a vibration which is traveling through ether, air, whatever, solids, liquids. And it is created by the meeting of two objects. The molecules are pushing each other and the sound is traveling. So in Vedic tradition, sound means something which conveys the idea of an object, or the exact word used in this connection is artha ashraya, or something which has the shelter. Sound is something which is shelter of meaning. So it carries some meaning. In Vedic conception, the letters, like in the English language, ABCD, alphabets. So they are called as akshara, bija. And this bija, the bijas are the seeds of existence. That's why all of you who are Brahman initiated. So while chanting the Gayatri, there are some bija mantras. So the bija, the sound vibration bija is a seed of existence. It carries that particular potency. So the bija mantra of Radha and Krishna is there. Bija mantra of different deities is there. It carries their potency. So bija means something which carries the potency, that sound. So then akshara is also a synonym of omkara, pranav. So the sum of all syllables and the source of all Vedic hymns. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yagye Pratishtitam. He says that regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and Vedas are directly manifested from Akshara. Krishna is saying here. Brahmakshara Samudbhavam. Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam. So the Vedas are manifested from Akshara, or the syllabus Om, and consequently they are all pervading. So the Vedas are also manifesting from sound, Akshara, and also the material creation is manifesting from Akshara. Consequently, all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice, yagya, nityam yagya pratishtitam. So why? Because in the yagya, Om is chanted. So the aksharas or sound vibrations can be traced back to their source. All the aksharas or the bijas, they can be traced back to particular deities. So some bijas are coming from the bija comes akshara, Bija means the root of akshara. So from the bija comes akshara, and all the bijas are traced back to particular deities, Durga, Shiva, different demigods, and different Vishnu Murtis. They also have their own bija mantras. So through that bija mantra, different stages of manifestation are happening in this universe. So this akshara or sound is very, very potent, because the Vedas are coming from akshara, omkar, and the different manifestations in this universe are also coming from sound. They are manifesting from sound. So shabda or sound is different from noise. Noise is different. Noise is distinct from sound. So noise is not artha ashraya. It does not carry any meaning. It is not the shelter of meaning. So Baldev Vidyabhushan, in his commentary to Vedanta Sutra, he says that creation of all the living entities it proceeds from the remembrance of their form and characteristics by Lord Brahma, who is reciting the corresponding words. What he says, creation of all living entities, the creation of all living entities, even the different planetary systems. In the purport, Prabhupada is speaking about going to different planetary systems. So the creation of all living entities and the planetary systems, it is originating from Brahma, who is remembering those particular forms and characteristics of those planetary systems, those qualities, those particular bodies. And he is chanting the corresponding words. And when he's chanting, these things are manifesting. So from this, we can begin to understand the potency of sound and its meaning. So also in this definition of sound which we read, Srimad Bhagavatam, it said that sound is something which indicates the presence of a speaker. So if sound indicates the presence of a speaker, it means that sound is a product of consciousness, because the speaker has consciousness. So if Bhagavatam says that sound indicates presence of speaker, it means that sound should have some consciousness, or it's a product of consciousness. So sound is something which is also referred to as vak or speech in Vedic texts. So sound also has meaning and it also carries consciousness. That is why when we are hearing different things on YouTube, it disturbs the mind. People are speaking some nonsense here, there, everywhere. So one should be focused in what one is supposed to hear. Otherwise, the consciousness will go in all directions, because the sound carries the potency of consciousness. So the sound is composed of different syllables, varnas, and the varnas, they have the creative potency. That is why we are asked to chant a specific number of mantras every day. Because that potency of that mantra should resonate with our consciousness. If we actually want to go to that place where we want to go, some people want to go to heavenly planets, they chant different mantras. We want to go to Goloka, we chant different mantras. Those who want to go to Vaikuntha planets, they will chant some other mantras. So the different letters symbolize different functions in the creative force. So mantras, they are not only a whimsical combination of sounds, but mantras are subtle form of that presiding deity. So when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and we say that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is non-different than Radha and Krishna, why it is so? Because that sound vibration, it carries the consciousness of Radha and Krishna. That's why one of the offenses is to be inattentive while chanting. So that's why sound vibration is non-different than the deity. It is not only true with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is true with all the mantras. If you are chanting mantra of Durga or Shiva, that mantra is non-different than that particular deity. It is like that. So, and the real purpose of one's meditation on any mantra, or let's say hearing something, Bhagavatam, let's say we are hearing Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is also going in the ears. It carries some consciousness. So that meditation or hearing some particular mantra or sound vibration, what is happening? We are communicating with that deity through that particular mantra. If you are hearing Bhagavatam, why it is said that when you are reading Bhagavatam, you are associating with Krishna? Because that sound vibration is going in your ears. Now, sound vibration is on different levels. It is not only something which you can hear. It is 4 different levels. So while reading also, the sound is created in the mind. That is also a sound. And that sound is also going in our consciousness. So just like there are different states of consciousness, the sleeping stage, Sushupti, the waking stage, the Turiya stage. Similarly, sound is also in different states. It is not only something which we hear. What we hear is the gross form of the sound. But there are even subtle forms of sound, on the mental state, in the sleeping stage, the mind is creating sounds, and so we are seeing different dreams. In the Turiya stage, so the pure devotees, those who are on the platform of Bhava and Prem, so their mind is always producing the sound of, or their consciousness is producing the sound of that particular mantra which they have been chanting. And so through that mantra, they get access to the spiritual world. So even while in this body, they get access to the pastimes of what's happening in the spiritual world. So that is also the science of sound only, science of mantras. So it takes realized consciousness to experience full range of sounds. So there are different ranges of sounds, and the yogis who are meditating, the Ashtanga yogis, they know all the different types of sounds. So being devotees, you don't have to go researching into all these things, because when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, anyway, that Hare Krishna Mahamantra sound is doing its job of purifying the consciousness, Chetodarpana Marjanam. So each level of sound, it corresponds different level of consciousness. That is why even when we are speaking about devotees, isn't it? A neophyte devotee, what he chants is different. Madhyam Adhikari, what he chants is different. Uttam Adhikari, what he chants is different. So all three are chanting. They are doing the same activities from morning to night. They are chanting the same mantra. But the quality of their sound vibration is very different. Someone is chanting Aparadhanam, someone is Namabhas, someone is chanting Shuddhanam. So the quality of the sound vibration which they are chanting is different, and it produces a different level of existence and consciousness for them. So that is why the neophyte devotees, even when they are chanting, still the mind is disturbed, because that particular chanting is not producing that level of consciousness for them. They need more practice, more purification. So there are different types of sounds. So just like there are different states of consciousness. So there is transcendental consciousness, Turiya. Then there is intellectual consciousness on the platform of intellect, mental consciousness, mental platform. And there is a physical consciousness on the platform of the body. Similarly, the sound is also on different platforms. On the physical plane, there is sound, something which we directly hear. On the mental plane, there is sound we hear in our mind. The mind is speaking 24 hours. That is also sound. On the platform of intelligence, also there is sound. And on the platform of soul, transcendence, also there is sound. So just like there is different states, we read in Bhagavatam, wakeful state, dreaming state, dreamless state, Jagruti, Swapna, Sushupti, Turiya, transcendental state. Similarly, the sound also exists on different platforms. So through the manifestation of sounds, one can move from one state to another state. This is the science. So if you are vibrating your mantras on a physical plane, You can be on a physical plane. If you progress to the more subtle planes, then you can attain subtle planets, subtle destinations. The more finer is your sound vibration, the mantras, the more subtle destination you can achieve, higher planets. Or it can be on a transcendental platform also. So if you reach on the transcendental platform, then you can attain spiritual planets. That is what Prabhupada writes in the book. So this is the science behind going to different planetary systems through different through sound vibration. So all right. So just like there are different states of existence, like that, the different sounds correspond to that. So when Brahma is creating different bodies and different planetary systems, he's chanting different mantras. So those mantras are already there, which are given by Brahma. So if we chant those particular mantras, then you can attain those particular planets. Because whatever you chant, whatever you read, so chanting is not only chanting mantras, it is also preparing your consciousness by reading or thinking about it. Like Srimad Bhagavatam is also actually hearing, isn't it? Even if someone is reading, the sound is created in the mind and intelligence, and it is also hearing. So without sound, you cannot perceive anything. Even when you're reading, that sound is generated in the mind. That is our experience. So when you chant that particular mantra, then you will reach that particular destination. So if you are chanting, so these all the bija mantras, even the bija mantras of Radha and Krishna, they are also there in the Vedas, and Brahma has also chanted them. In Brahma Samhita, we read that this particular Brahma in our universe, he is a devotee of Radha and Krishna. It's not that all demigods are, but this particular Brahma is. So we read the beginning verses of Brahma Samhita, you will see that Brahma is in his mood is that. So if you chant that particular mantra, if you read about those places, then you go to that planet. That's why in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, if you worship the ghosts and demons, you will go to their loka. If you worship the demigods, you will go to their planet. If you worship me, then you will go back to Goloka. So worship means not only worship, worship means everything. Whole sadhana process is there, which ultimately revolves around sound vibration, Shabda. So Shabda is the mantra, Shabda is also the Vedic text, which speaks about that particular deity or that particular place. For example, Srimad Bhagavatam, it speaks about the deity, Krishna. And also it speaks about the destination or the activities of Krishna, which are performed here on the earth planet, but they are also manifest in Goloka. So when the Shabda is going in the mind, then at some point of time, when the sadhaka achieves perfection in that sadhana of mantra, then he will attain that destination. That is the science. So that's why in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that liberation by sound. Of course, he doesn't say that. In Vedanta Sutra, it is said anavrutti shabdat, liberation by sound. So sound is a non-material source of manifestation, and sound is the key by which we can become free from bondage. So sound is a thread. It's like a link between material and spiritual realms. Through sound, you can travel anywhere. You can go to Pitri Loka, as Prabhupada says there, or other heavenly planets, or you can go to the realms of ghosts and demons, or you can go to all the possible places which are there existing in the universe, or you can go beyond the universe also through sound. So, so there is much more detail we can discuss about the creation of the sound, origin of sound, and how in the human society sound should be utilized properly. But anyway, we don't have time for that. So, coming to the topic of going to different planetary systems. Prabhupada says that you can go to this loka, that loka, or even spiritual lokas. So, as we discussed earlier, when we are discussing about the sound as a medium of going somewhere or creating something, so we can go to different planets through sound. And there are different types of planets in this universe. Planet does not necessarily mean that it's a mass of Earth rotating in the sky. It can also mean a realm. It's a place of existence. For example, when we speak about spiritual planet, there is no earth, water, fire, gross elements. It's not like a ball of mass rotating in the spiritual sky. It's a realm of existence. So planet means a realm of existence where someone can stay. So on this earth also, there are different realms of existence, parallel realms. For example, the ghosts and spirits, they exist. Many people experience them, and they are existing on the same plane here. Not the same plane, but on the earth planet. They are staying right with us. But their plane of existence is different. It's a different dimension. You cannot go to the dimension of ghost and spirit by mechanical means, by some rocket ship, by some whatever. So it is not possible. Even if you spend billions of dollars on some technology, you cannot go there. So you cannot go there by mechanical means. So what to speak of going to the plane of demigods who are pious? Definitely you cannot go there by mechanical means. And spiritual world, nothing material can go. So in this world, there are different types of realms existing together. Different dimensions are there. So the beings from higher dimensions or higher planes of consciousness, like the demigods, they can always come to a lower dimension and manifest themselves in the lower dimension. But someone from a lower dimension, for them to go to the higher dimension, they need to develop that kind of higher consciousness. Then they can go there. Otherwise, it is not possible. By mechanical means, it's not possible. So, in Brahma Samhita, Brahma says, Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti shvashesu vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam tad brahma nishkula nanta mashesha bhutam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. So, Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti shvashesu vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam. So, what it means? Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti. So, jagadanda koti means there is not only one universe. There are unlimited number of universes existing together. And in each universe, there are infinite number of planets. And also it says, Vasudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam. Vibhuti Bhinnam means what? That there are different vibhutis and they are different. So the adaptability of different organisms to exist in different planets is there. So the modern science, they have information about one particular type of body, like on Earth planet, because the Earth planet is primarily made up of earth and water. That's why all the living organisms who are on the Earth planet, their bodies are made up of earth and water, like our body. So the living organisms who are there on a fiery planet, let's say a planet which is made up of fire, like Sun, or a gaseous planet, or planet where there is only water, their bodies will be made up of fire, air, ether. So when modern science is trying to search for life, they say that, oh, on this planet there is no water, so no life. It's not like that. So Vibhuti Bhinnam, it means what? That the adaptability of different organisms to exist in different realms is already there. So that's why the Vedas say that in each and every planet there is life. Whether you see it or not, that's another story. So you cannot see the ghosts and spirits staying on this earth planet only. So how you will see someone whose body is made up of fire or something which is more subtle than fire? So you cannot see that. But they are existing. Whether you see or you don't see, they are existing there. So each and every one of the innumerable planets in the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere. And the living beings are perfectly habituated or adapted to live on that kind of atmosphere. Their body is adapted like that. Their psychology is also adapted like that. So on the higher planets, the level of psyche, intelligence is also that high. On the lower planets, like the where the demons stay, they are more into gross sense enjoyment. In the earth, you are somewhere in between. You can go in any direction. So Vibhuti means specific power. In Bhagavad Gita, we read 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. So Krishna is explaining about his different vibhutis or opulences or powers. So Vibhuti Bhinnam means variegated vibhutis, variegated ways of life, consciousness. And all of them are ultimately coming from Krishna only. So whether you go to Moon, Sun, Mars, or any other faraway planet, there is life existing there. And all of them are tuned with that particular frequency of sound vibration, which is generated by that planet or the deity which they have worshipped to go to that planet. Every planet has a presiding deity, and that deity has their own bija mantras, as we discussed earlier. And the bija mantras, it carries the potency to create that kind of environment. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that at the time of death, if anybody concentrates his mind on the form of Krishna, and then he leaves the body, then he will enter into spiritual existence, or he'll go to the spiritual planets. This means that anybody who practices constantly uh, the he practices that his mind should focus from matter to spirit. Someone who constantly practices this, someone who is constantly trying to connect with that shabda, from material shabda to spiritual shabda, he can easily transform his form at the time of death from material to spiritual. And so he can very easily attain to the kingdom of God in anti-material worlds or spiritual sky. So there is no doubt about it. It's a perfect science. And there are so many examples which we read in Bhagavatam and other places of this science. So even when you go to spiritual sky, there are unlimited number of Vaikunthas in the Paravyoma. So where different Vishnu Murtis are there. And that place is much greater than the material sky also. So the poor materialists were busy in some political adjustment in a place which is most insignificant in when you are looking at Vedic cosmology. What to speak of this planet Earth, the whole universe and innumerable planets up and down is compared with a grain of mustard amongst the mustard pack in a bag, or it's like a grain of sand on a beach on the ocean. So such poor materialists, they make plans to live here comfortably and waste the most valuable energy of human form of life. So, and they are trying to get some enjoyment, which will ultimately frustrate them. So instead of wasting time in that plan making business, we should live a plain and simple life with high thinking and spiritual life. Spiritual life should have, it will save the misguided human beings, from this perpetual unrest and dissatisfaction which they are experiencing. Even if a materialist wants to enjoy nicely, Prabhupada says many times, he should go to some heavenly planets. There the facility of enjoyment is much more. You can eat as much as you want because you are not limited to your physical body. The body is subtle there. So here we are limited to a small stomach, how much you can eat. And if you eat more, you get loose motion. So even if you want to enjoy nicely for purposes, then you should go to heavenly planets. Enjoy materially. And ultimately, enjoyment means in the spiritual terms only. So going back to spiritual world. So animal civilization of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending has misled the modernized man, and they have forgotten that he is actually the spirit soul. He can have higher states of consciousness. Beyond the physical, there is the mental plane, the plane of intelligence, the plane of the soul. And he can access that particular information from the Vedas. He can chant those mantras and he can attain those planes. So, as we have discussed, that the soul is a spiritual spark, and the soul is very, very powerful. It has a lot of power. It can do so many things. Single spirit soul, so it is infinitesimal, but when it becomes powerful, like in case of Dhruva Maharaj, when he's meditating on the Supreme Lord, the whole universe is shaking. So this little spiritual spark is more powerful than the sun, moon, electricity. So human life is spoiled not by realizing this truth. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with Nityananda Prabhu, they have appeared to save the man from this type of misleading civilization. Okay, so there is much more we can discuss, interesting things. There are different types of very interesting planetary systems which are described in Mahabharata, other parts of the Vedas. So I'll discuss one episode or a couple of episodes very quickly and we can end the class then. So in the Sabha Parva of Mahabharata, the explanation comes that Arjuna is going to Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is extension of Bhumandala. So the earth is part of Bhumandala and Jambudvipa is the inner part of Bhumandala. So it is almost like heavenly planets, and you cannot go from one Varsha to another Varsha. So if you want to go from this Varsha to the other Varsha, it's another part of Bhumandala. You cannot go like that unless you are spiritually elevated. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Arjuna and all his brothers to go in different directions for the Ashwamedh Yajna. So Arjuna is going in the northern direction. So one of the Varshas in Jambudvipa is Uttar Kuru Varsha. So Arjuna is going to Uttar Kuru Varsha. This is beyond the greater Himalayas, not the Himalayas which we see on the Earth planet, but the greater Himalayas. So it's very difficult to cross just this Himalayas. What to speak of the greater Himalayas? They are subtle. So he goes there, and there on the gate, he sees that there are gatekeepers. They are very tall, much higher, taller than the human beings of this earth. And they tell Arjuna that, how is it that you have come here? Human beings cannot reach here. And even if you have reached here, how is it that you are able to see the things in Uttar Kuru Varsha? Because even if a human being reaches here, he'll not be able to see the things here, the people here, the objects, activities. Just like when you go to the moon, you only see a desert. But the Vedas explain that moon is not like a desert. Because the objects and people on the moon are existing on a different plane. So Arjuna, because he is pure devotee, he says that not only I can see you, I can see your king, I can see your kingdom, and you please tell your king that he should submit to Yudhishthira Maharaj, otherwise I am coming and attacking you. So he says, okay, okay, don't worry. We are going to tell our king that Arjuna has come with his army. So Arjuna is so powerful that he can go to these places even with the army, not only himself. So in previous times, people were very spiritually elevated, and some of them could go to heavenly planets, like Arjuna went. So that was possible. It is also possible to go to lower planets. So on the Earth planet, there are some places which are connections to those higher places or lower places, like a portal. So if you are spiritually elevated, you can go through that portal to higher planets. Like through Himalayas, you can go to higher planetary systems. There are some places in the ocean, mostly in the oceans, from where you can go to lower planetary systems. That's why there are so many cases that the ship is traveling, the plane is flying on the ocean, it vanishes, never to be found again. So they enter in that place which is connecting to lower planetary systems, and they go there. And they don't know the science of how to come back. But it is possible to go and come back also. Like Babru Vahan, the son of Arjuna. So there was a fight between Arjuna and Babru Vahan in Mahabharata. And Babru Vahan, by mistake, he kills Arjuna. So now he has to be revived back. He does not know that Arjuna was my father. So he has to go to Nagaloka, the planet of the serpents, and which is there below in the lower realms. And there he is going to find one specific herb which is going to revive Arjuna. So this also comes in the Ashwamedh Parva of Mahabharata. So Arjuna goes there, and all these Nagas, the Nagas does not mean only serpents, they are very powerful beings. So they have mystic abilities. So there is a war between Babruvan and Nagas, and they have these mystical abilities of creating illusions. And none of the celestial weapons of Babruvan is working. And so he creates his own unique celestial weapon. So first, he shoots an arrow which creates a shower of honey. And honey is falling in all directions on the body of the Nagas. And the Nagas are thinking, what happened? Babruvan is confused, or he gave up war, now he's showering honey on us. So the body of all the Nagas is drenched with honey. And then Babruvan shoots another arrow, Pippilika Astra. So that is, if you shoot that arrow, then very deadly ants are going to shower from the sky. And these are not ordinary ants, they are like bullet ants, which are found in Africa. If they bite you once, then it's like a bullet shooting in the body. So now the ants are falling and they're eating the bodies of the Nagas. And only the bones are remaining now. So they say, okay, we give up. Take this herb and get lost. So if you read Mahabharata, there are so many wonderful descriptions of these other planetary systems also, which you can read. So yeah, anyway, so today we discussed about the science of Shabda, how Shabda is something which carries the potency to create, to allow us to travel by raising the consciousness, and also different types of planetary systems which are there. We could have discussed more, but there's no time now about the different wonderful types of planetary systems which exist in this universe and the type of beings which are there. So anyway, we'll stop here. Are there any questions?
Hare Krishna. So thank you, Prabhu. I mean, I'm speechless. I think there's so much of inputs that we got, so much of aspects about the subtle aspect of sound. I mean, very interesting. And then a different dimension, a different perspective. I'm sure there were a lot of takeaways from the group that has been listening. In fact, I really like the way you kind of connected it to the Mahamantra, and then how the sound is actually carrying the consciousness, and then how sound actually relates to a personality or to a deity or to a, I mean, it could be anyone, it could be Durga or it could be Krishna, so on and so forth. So these were, and then how you said that Shabda is actually Artha Ashraya, means it is a shelter of meaning. I mean, it contains meaning, and then it actually leads or denotes to something else, and then ultimately a personality. So that's very nice to hear those things. So thank you so much, Prabhu. And I'll stop here. I'll request the devotees to ask their questions or reflections. Anything is there, kindly go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. After a very, very long time, we are hearing from you. It's an excellent class. And Prabhu, that means we are all chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That means we have a chance to go back to Goloka.
Yes, definitely. Not a chance. Definitely you will go. So, but how many lifetimes it will take, that depends on our practice. So the chance is there that we can go in this life also, or you can take few lifetimes. So definitely there is not a chance, it's a guarantee. So Prabhupada says that this Krishna consciousness is like a terminal disease. Once you get a terminal disease, you are supposed to die. Once you contract Krishna consciousness, it will forcibly drag you to success. So when it will drag, it depends on your endeavor. It is possible in this life, or it can take few lifetimes, but it's a guarantee. So it's not a chance, it's a guarantee. But when it will manifest, that depends on our endeavor.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So Prabhu, here in this question and in your reply, can we also conclude that if one is chanting at a very physical level, then it would take a longer time till the individual is able to elevate the consciousness and then chant in a way, then automatically that progression will happen. Is that how it is to be viewed with respect to the sound?
I mean, when it comes to devotees, then they just have to take care of the instructions of the acharyas which are there in our sampradaya. For example, we have the 10 offenses against the holy name. So if we take care of those 10 offenses, then naturally the quality of our chanting will progress. So you don't have to worry so much about the technicalities as we discussed in our class. So the technicalities are to be the yogis who are Ashtanga yogis and the Jnana yogis, they are very much into the technical aspects of this. But for us, the technical aspects are given in a very simple way, because Bhakti Yoga is something which is not practiced only by people who leave the home and go to forest and they are like that. So it is for everybody. So things are stated in a very simple way, but by following those simple instructions, all the technicalities are automatically taken care of. So if the 10 offenses are taken care, then the chanting will progress, definitely. So everything is contained in those 10 offenses only against the holy names. So we just have to be careful about them.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Devotees, any other questions? Please go ahead.
Okay, no other questions. So thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, Prabhu, 1 minute, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, if the weather, if the visibility is good, and if it is feasible, can we have darshan of Govardhan, Prabhu?
Let me see, I think it is foggy. Yeah. It's completely foggy. You can see out of the window. You can't see anything. So it's very cold weather now here, and it's very foggy, so you can't see.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhu. For the
Okay, thank you very much. Vanchakalparubhyascha kripasindhubhyev च paritanam
परितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. So, Prabhuji, once again, thank you so much. And we would love to have more of your association and such wonderful messages. So, thank you. And Dandavat pranams to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
On this note, I will end the session now.
Krishna.
Thank you.